Thank you so much for that. Greetings, dear brothers and sisters.
Greetings.
I am Yeshua. Some may know me as Jesus. Some may know me as other names. The name does not matter. The name is irrelevant. It is an absolute pleasure and a privilege to be here with you all, to be looking at you through these eyes, to being able to view you in this way once again. My dearest brothers, my dearest sisters, we meet again, and yet in some ways we have never been separate. You have all been gathered here today. You have been specifically chosen. You have been specifically gathered for a reason. There is no coincidence that all of you are here on the call. Whether you were originally invited, whether you have only just been invited, you are all meant to be here, listening to these words. It has been orchestrated. It has been happening in the wings. It has been the energy of coordination to allow all of you here to be here tonight. And it is a pleasure to be able to be speaking these words to you. I am looking on my brothers and sisters from the Essene community. I am looking on my beloved disciples. I am looking on my beloved community from the Druid community and from also communities from all around the world. We were together when I walked the earth. We spent many a time together, discussing, conversing, sharing bread, sharing wine, walking together, talking together and teaching together. We have shared so much over the years, and it means so much to me to be here again, being able to communicate with you all directly. Over the years in this lifetime, and over the years in many lifetimes, we have already communicated. You feel the connection to my energy. You feel the connection to my lifetime because you know you were there. We have connected many times. I help guide many of you along your paths in this life. Your purposes here in this lifetime is very significant. You are all here for specific purposes, each of you unique and individual and special in your own ways. You have all chosen and have agreed to incarnate into this lifetime, to bring into existence what I tried to do 2,000 years ago. It is coming to fruition. It is culminating in this lifetime. What I tried to impart into humanity all those years ago. I find it quite emotional speaking these words, to be here with you and to be able to witness this world being very slowly but surely being brought into this Christ consciousness existence, where all of you can feel and recognize your own divinity, your own spark, your own connection to God. We are all sons and daughters of God. There is no separation between any of us. We are all the same. You look at me and I reflect back to you. We are the same energy. You are me and I am you. These are the teachings that I tried to impart when I was here walking on earth. It wasn't to create me into a god, to create me into a saint or any higher being. It was to impart to all of you that you are all the same as me. There is no difference. There is no separation. You are all capable of these miracles that I was able to perform. You are all capable of those miracles now. It is about understanding yourselves, understanding the laws of the universe, and understanding it is your birthright to walk on this earth and to live on earth as it is in heaven. Because heaven is just another description, another word for the fact that you have it all. It is not without, it is not outside of yourself. It is not without, it is within. You have everything you need within you. There is no need to search. There is no need to search for the answer, for any wisdom outside of yourself, because you already have it. I am within each and every one of you. People view the Christ consciousness as something to attain, as something to strive for, as some goal to reach, as something to achieve. It is already there. Christ consciousness is not a location. It is a way of being. It is that stillness within you, that peace, that joy, that sense of knowing that there is a greater plan at play, that you are not on your own. We are all connected. You may be in individual physical bodies, but your energies are all one. You are connected in so many ways by your souls, by your consciousness, that you tend to in this lifetime separate yourselves and think that you have to do this on your own. This is not the case. I would like you to take from this that we are all together. You are not separate from me, as I am not separate from you. And I'm hoping that these words will embed and embody themselves within you, and it will awaken a remembering, a knowing, a spark, a light within you that will now start to burn brighter as you recognize that you chose these individual paths, these individual journeys to get to this same destination, this same point of recognizing myself in you and yourself in me. I recognize that it is difficult sometimes for you to get out of your headspace, as you would put it. There is a lot of mental chatter that goes on with each and every one of you. And you struggle sometimes to quieten the mind, and you get embroiled in your everyday lives. But know that it is okay for this. It is okay to get lost sometimes in your 3D reality, in your lives, in your world here. But understand that you can still drop down into that sense of peace, that heart space, that stillness within. That is within each and every one of your capability to be able to achieve that sense of stillness, that sense of peace, no matter what is going on around you. And this is what you are remembering. This is what you are relearning as you walk this path. You are all at different levels, but you are all on your unique journey. There is no better or worse. There just is. I am helping guide all of you, encouraging you to remember this one step at a time, one breath at a time, knowing that there is no destination. There is just a sense of being, a sense of quietness, of knowing that you are being guided. You are being guided and directed by the divine, and that all is well, my brothers and sisters. I would like to ask at this point, does anybody have any questions that they would like to ask?
We're just waiting for some replies.
Thank you, my dear.
And we have one from Maria. What is the best way to surrender?
An excellent question, my dear. You have worked a long time on trying to surrender more and more. I have witnessed your path with love and with joy. You have come a long way, my dear. Recently, a very long way in a very short time. You have been making excellent progress. And you asked about how best to surrender. It is about, there are many ways in which to surrender, but there is an easier way and then a not so easier way. And it is about having that faith that you are being guided and having that belief. And I find belief, trust grows when you have proof. But to start with, my dears, you need to walk that path with no proof, with no validation, with no knowing that it is indeed the right direction that you are walking, but just have that deep sense of letting go, of just placing your life in the hands of the divine. This is not easy. I appreciate this. And this is why it is sometimes important to spend time alone, to spend time just going into that silence and to allowing yourself to drop even further out of your mind chatter. The more that you can drop out of that headspace, out of that mind chatter, down into your heart, the easier it will become to surrender. But as I find witnessing all of your journeys and witnessing journeys over many years, the surrender comes and goes. It oscillates. Sometimes it is easy to surrender, and then other times it isn't. So you end up moving forward into surrender and then back again in wanting to have that control, and then going back into the surrender and moving back then into control. Understand that this is a normal process. I too went through this process. As most of you are aware, I spent many years traveling, many years living in caves, in isolation, with great masters, teaching me And it is a process of learning to surrender again and again. So understand that when you can surrender and let go, enjoy these moments, allow yourselves to witness the magic that happens, but equally be gentle with yourselves when you realize that you are not in full surrender. And that is okay. It is very much a flow of understanding. Sometimes you will be in that flow of surrender. Other times you will be back on that shore. And then again, you'll be back into that flow of surrender. And that you will find and you will notice as time goes on that you are spending more time in that river of surrender than what you used to. And then just note that and note that progression of your journey. And then just try and surrender a little more. But I do not speak to you today and making out that this is easy. It is very simple, but I'm not suggesting that it is easy. It is something that needs to be done day after day. And then with everything, it becomes more familiar, that there will always be times when you are triggered and you will go back into not surrendering, and that is okay. Just witness where you are, and then when you can and when you are allowing, go back into that surrender. Do we have any more questions, my dears?
Yes, we do. We have a couple. Just bear with me, sorry. When you say you talk about disciples, does this mean every lifetime, please?
I don't understand fully the question. Are you asking whether you were disciples in the lifetime when I walked the earth? Or are you asking if then you have been disciples in subsequent lifetimes?
This was from Susie. Anna, could you just send me a reply, please? Sorry about this.
I wish just to make sure that I understand fully the question and have it clarified now rather than answer in an incorrect way.
Thank you for that. Okay. Both now and in previous lifetimes and when you walked the earth.
When I refer to you as disciples, that some of you were my disciples when I walked the earth, and that is how some of you feel that connection with me. You were in what you would maybe refer to as my inner circle, and there are many of you on this call that were in that inner circle of what your Bible refers to as my disciples. And you helped spread those teachings. You helped spread my word. I don't consider that any of your subsequent lifetimes there were disciples or what would have been referred to as disciples, but all of you have had many powerful lifetimes subsequent to the lifetime that we were together, as well as before some of you. Some of you have been here for many, many times, many lifetimes. So your subsequent ones from when we were together, some have been very powerful and some have been where you have forgotten your gifts, you have forgotten your power, and you have been working your way back to this lifetime when you are in the process of remembering. A lot of you suffered extreme hardships in the lifetime when we were together. And you have chosen, and your soul has chosen to now spend several lifetimes remembering your power and remembering your strength, because it is not easy when that strength is shaken, when your belief in you, yourself, and what you believe in and what you believe is right, when that is shaken and destroyed to the core, it is difficult to awaken again. And so many of you have lived many lifetimes being persecuted, many lifetimes being tortured, abused, and living not very nice lifetimes in order to get you to where you are now. And this is not anybody inflicting on you these lifetimes. These were lives that your soul chose to experience, that your soul wanted to go through in what it needed for its growth, and what process that you were all going through, because all of you have individual paths and individual growth.
Thank you for that.
You are welcome.
Kev
We
has
have
a question. Sorry. Kev has a question, and he's asking, is it true when the Essenes, the people who lived and worked with Yeshua, healed people, that they found their tone and sung it to them?
Thank you for that question. That is indeed one of the ways that the Essene community healed people. It was through that toning of the voice. It was that toning of the vibration. I'm sure that you have all read about the pyramids and how they were constructed, and many other great monuments and great buildings around this world, around this planet, of how awe-inspiring it has been and how miraculous it was that they were constructed at the times in history that they were. And many of you have probably read that it was sound that achieved this. And the Essenes were very proficient in the teachings of using sound for its absolute maximum effect, of like moving heavy objects, of healing people, of moving energy within a person's body, to be able to move the dis-ease to allow the ease within a person's body, and to be able to balance that. And so many of you in this lifetime now are being encouraged to use your voice, to use that tone, to use that power, because a lot of you have a distant memory of knowing that you have done this before. You have used your voice to heal others. And I learned much from my Essene community, from my Essene friends. They were very knowledgeable and very wise beyond their years. And it was information that had been passed down through time, through generations. And it was very advanced technology that they were aware of, and that they had the ability to be able to use and to adapt for the good of mankind. But it was also knowledge and technology that had to be kept quiet. It had to be kept away from the general population. The same goes for my teachings. The Essene teachings were also recorded, but then having to be kept very secret, very sacred, because in the wrong hands, they could be very much misinterpreted. And it is where a lot of you along that lineage signed up to the role of protecting my teachings, protecting the Essene teachings. And this has been passed through generations, through that bloodline, and not necessarily having the direct bloodline, but also that bloodline of the Magdalens, of keeping that information sacred, from keeping it from the wrong hands. And I am not talking here and making any dispersions about good and evil. It is purely about people that can understand the teachings and can understand the message behind it, rather than misrepresenting it for sometimes their own good, or for sometimes what they perceive as the good of others. And so this knowledge has been kept very secret and very sacred for generations. Some teachings have been passed down verbally. Some teachings have been passed down in the written format. But I am very grateful to have been part of these teachings, and very grateful for the generations that have kept those teachings alive and have kept those teachings pure and unadulterated. Thank you. Are there any more questions?
Yes, they are. We're just quickly checking on the list. Sorry.
I think it's is it Yana next with she says feels a profound peace within me most of the time. However, going through the day, not experiencing as much joy as before, and wondering why that joy, that inner joy, has been lost.
Thank you for your question. I feel that peace within you. I feel that centeredness, that stillness that you have created through your being, through your life, through the work that you do. You channel a great deal, my dear. You work in service to the divine. And in your daily practice, in your daily servitude, that has managed to create a great deal of peace within you. But the joy has changed. The joy within you feels different. I do feel that joy still within you, but it is like a little flame. It is just flickering. It has got quieter than what it used to be. Two things that I wish to say about this. One, it is for you to recognize that joy, that deep joy, when you reach that space, is not how a lot of you would describe joy in the outer world. That laughing, that high energy, the joy that you achieve when you reach that true essence of who you are, is a very quiet feeling. It is a very peaceful feeling. It is just a sense of knowing. So in one way, my dear, your sense of joy has changed, because as you have deepened further into yourself and further into that knowing, that feeling of joy is not how you used to experience that joy previously. So it has changed within you. The other part of that question is one, knowing that, but then also looking into your path. There needs to be that balance that will bring that lightness back, that joy, that sense of joy and freedom in finding something that you will engage in that brings you that sense of joy, because this path should not be heavy. It should not be a burden. It should not be, and this applies to all of you, there should be that balance between that life of service and also your life here on earth in a 3D world and existence. It is okay to have fun, to experience joy, but then also to recognize that you are also have agreed to this life of service, that it is about getting that balance. It should not be one or the other. So I hope, my dear, that that answers your question fully. It is a bit of both as to why you do not experience that joy in the same way that you used to.
Thank you for that lovely reply.
You're welcome.
Rachel has a question. Can you tell us more about the teaching of Mary Magdalene as a part of the divine union with the Christ energy, her role in the continuing teachings in your, her role in the continuing your teachings?
Most definitely.
Thank you.
As you are aware, in your history, in your teachings, there is that divine union between myself and what you refer to as Mary Magdalene, the essence of Mary Magdalene. And that is that perfect balance between the divine masculine and the divine feminine energy. And when we came together, when we were together as we walked this earth, we created that divine union between the feminine and the masculine, that perfect harmony, that perfect balance. As some of you are aware that have read and delved deeper into the Essene and into my journey and my path, you will also know that I was with others while on this lifetime, while on this earth. It wasn't just Mary Magdalene. So Mary Magdalene's essence is a combination, but when we did connect on this earth plane as two individuals, it did create that divine union, that blueprint for the divine union. And that was our purpose when we were here as we walked the earth. And she, as one of the Magdalenes, one of the Marys, and also as Mary of Bethany herself, which is who you mainly refer to as Mary Magdalene, as I know of Mary of Bethany, that they have all, and her in particular, have continued my teachings. They continued after my departure from the earth, which was many years after my resurrection. But after I finally departed from this earth, they continued my sacred way, my sacred path and the journey. They embodied those teachings to their fullest extent. They went through their own growth path. Mary of Bethany would indeed say herself that the growth that her soul went through in that lifetime was immense. What she struggled with was what many of you have struggled with in this incarnation. Everyday concerns, everyday worries, that just because she is a divine feminine being and is able to continue this Magdalene line, this Magdalene teachings of this Christ consciousness, it does not mean that she was without struggle in this incarnation. The same as it does not mean that I was not without struggle when I was incarnated. No one is born onto this earth and does not have their trials and do not have their struggles. So Mary Magdalene is key in this divine feminine awakening that is happening on your planet at the moment. She is one of the key figures that has been working tirelessly for many years to awaken the divine feminine, to awaken that energy, that knowledge, that remembering of that way of being. And this does not mean that this resides purely in the female form. The divine feminine, the divine masculine exist no matter what the gender. And she is key in helping to awaken this in all of you and to bring back that balance between the feminine and the masculine energy. Because for centuries, you have lived very much in a off-balanced way, very much in the masculine energy, with a patriarchal society, and very much focused on that masculine energy of doing. And she is helping through her direct guidance with a lot of you, and as well as the teachings from her that are now in many of your literature to help understand her being and her teachings and her place when we were on the earth together and her place now. And it is enacting out what we started those thousands of years ago, of enabling that true divine union in each and every one of you, because it starts within you, that divine union, before it is able to be rippled out into your relationships, into your partnerships, because you need to be fully balanced within yourself, within that feminine and masculine energy, to have to need nothing from anybody else. It does not mean to say that you live in isolation. It just means that you are in perfect harmony and you are not relying on somebody else to fill in missing pieces of yourself. And when the two of us combined and joined, there was no separation. There was perfect union. And this is what she is working towards, and she is working directly with many of you now to try and achieve this, and also for you to then teach it and show to others of how they can achieve it. I hope this fully answered your question, my dear.
Yes, thank you.
Do we have any questions, any more questions?
I think Maria was asking a question, but I feel as though you've already touched on Maria's question, because Maria was asking about, Brigitte, have you found it?
Yes, it's the union. Can you talk about the union of the divine feminine and masculine and how to use it to serve?
I think that's something that we've just been speaking about, very much so.
Yes, that is correct. I am just thinking if there is anything else that I can add about that. But I feel about the how can you serve with that. It is about focusing foremost upon yourselves and achieving that balance between the feminine and the masculine, and then achieving that balance with the divine feminine and masculine. And then it is about, in serving the planet, in serving Earth, it is then by your light wandering and walking this earth will enable others to be able to begin their journey and to easily be able to connect to their divinity, their balance between that feminine and masculine. You are what you would call trailblazers. You are the ones that are walking this path first. So it is not easy for you walking your journey, for walking your path, because you are the ones that are creating this blueprint. You are creating a blueprint for others to be able to follow while on this earth. We as ascended masters are helping you to create this blueprint on earth, because it is this blueprint that we created many years ago, but it is now ready to be enacted on earth, not just by the few, but by the many. But it starts with you. It starts with the few. And then how you put that into service is through your teachings, is through where you are guided to be of service, whether this is in the healing profession, whether it is in mediumship profession, whether it is in teachings, whether it is in writing, whether it is in a multitude of these things. You are individually guided to how you are able to best serve. But all of you are able to serve just by being yourselves and working on healing yourselves and being yourselves, because it is your light that will shine out and will enable others to follow your path.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that clarification. Bevan has asked an interesting question. And Bevan says that mankind has struggled for many years and lifetimes trying to find peace, but always seem to stay held in fear and in control. Can you please give any insight as to our future course?
Yes, an interesting question, as you say. It is correct that mankind has been held in servitude, has been held in fear, has been held with power for centuries, for millennia, in fact. And this is why this lifetime is so key, so important, to break this cycle, to enable this to change. This was what we attempted to do 2,000 years ago, but it was not the time. It was the time for sowing that blueprint. It was the time for sowing those seeds, but those seeds needed time to be able to germinate. And that is what has brought us to this point in time. Because in your lifetime, you will see huge change. You have already seen huge change. You have already seen such changes in humanity. There is still so much to be rectified, still so much to be changed. But I urge you not to focus on that, but to focus on the change that has occurred, and know that it is like those balance scales. It is when the balance reaches a turning point that the scales will fall. So it is not a matter of having to convert each and every soul that is already on earth. It is merely a point of reaching that tipping point of when the ones that are awake outweigh the ones that are still asleep. And this is where huge and rapid change will then be seen. And equally, in the last several decades, there has been so much change, so much influence that has reached the earth, that is allowing this to really start to take momentum, and this momentum will gather now. It is getting faster and faster as you have already entered this new reality, this new multidimensional reality of way of being, you are already within that timeline. So things have already significantly changed to get you to this point, and things will now just accelerate and change even faster than it was before. Is there any more questions? I have just time for one more question. I can feel my medium's energy is tiring.
Yes, we have one just come in from Maria saying, can I ask for some comments on the perfection of reality?
Perfection of reality.
Perfection of reality.
Could I ask her, please, what does she mean by this?
Could you please just send a message? Okay, Maria's put how everything is so perfect. Why do we need to change it?
Okay. I am not saying that about the change, that things are not in perfect existence as it is, because everything exists perfectly and everybody is on their individual path and are at their perfect location where they are. The earth and everything that you witness here is in absolute imperfection in itself. The change that I am referring to is the change within individuals, that change of acknowledging that perfection within themselves. Because where the discord arises is that unwillingness to acknowledge the perfection within each and every one of you. It is when that you realize and when that you recognize and when others also recognize that that perfection already exists. Where the change that I have been referring to is because you refuse to see, and I do not mean this in a derogatory way, but it is that barrier, that sense of illusion, that perfection is outside of yourself, something to be attained, whereas it is that dissolving of the illusion, dissolving of that barrier, and realizing you are already perfect. You are already, each and every one of you, perfect within yourselves. And it is when you realize that perfection that you will attain that complete balance between the divine masculine and the divine feminine. When that is out of balance within you, it is when you do not recognize that true essence of who you are, that true perfection. And that is where that disillusionment comes in, that barrier that you think, or that it isn't, that this reality is not perfect. Because as you very well put, this reality is perfect. It is just the aligning to that understanding that everything is imperfection. That is the change that needs to occur, that alignment. I hope that fully answers the question.
Thank you.
So I will step backwards now for this evening and I will allow my medium to come back. But I wish to say goodbye to each and every one of you. But just know that this is only the start of our communication. This is only the start or our continuation, because we have already been in communication previously. But I wish to impart my love to each of you. and to say what an honor has been to have been given this privilege of talking to you in this way once again. So I thank you, my dearest brothers, my dearest sisters. I love you all.
Likewise, it has been very insightful, your wisdom that you've shared, and we are very grateful for the opportunity for this communication to take place.
Thank you.
You okay, Kirsty?
Yeah, I'm back. Thank you.
Thank you.
Everyone can unmute themselves if you like. How did you all find that?
That was superb. It was amazing, very empowering, I felt as well, healing, could feel the healing energy as well. Very, very peaceful. It was amazing. Yeah, thank you.
You all had, I can't remember how many kind of questions that there were, and I can't say fully remember anything that was said, but it sounded good when it was coming
Yeah,
through.
I think there was a couple of questions that we didn't get around to asking, but hopefully, as was said, this is the first gathering of many, so there will be other opportunities. So apologies to those we didn't get around to asking the question. We could see that you were starting to weary, to get tired as well. So we're also keen to bring you back.
Yeah, that's good. I could feel my energy just in that last.
You did.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Has anybody got any other comments or anything that they'd like to say?
Can I just say something? Thank you. It was absolutely amazing. I'm burning up. And at some point, but in the beginning, I just felt like the whole room was vibrating. There was that much energy.
Yeah.
And then I could see like beams of light coming out of everywhere around you, like as if you were inside of the sun.
Wow.
There was a lot of energy, and my higher heart kept opening up, and I felt like this pull. It was just really incredible. And his answers were like, I'm still in awe. It's just so, it made me really emotional at one point. And as Jane or Bridget said, there was a lot of healing coming through. I could feel that. But I felt like this is huge. What you helped bring in, I don't know how to say it. I just feel like this is huge. And yeah, this is like the beginning of something a lot more. I just wanted to just say that. Thank you. Sorry if I asked too many questions, but
It's okay. I can't remember who asked the what. So
I think I asked like 3 questions. I am so sorry.
It's okay. I'll tell you.
I couldn't help myself. Thank you anyway.
Yeah, thank you for those
observations. Pure love vibration, it was beautiful. The actual vibration, the energy that was coming forward. Yeah.
But was it quite tangible?
Yes.
Well,
his energy.
I think so. Yes. Yeah.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And your whole face changed, Kirsty. It was kind of like your face changed, but you were just like exuding rays of light and just beaming. You were just beaming.
Wow.
Till that last moment, till those last few moments, you were just beaming, positively beaming.
Yeah.
Yeah, and your throat was very different to how it is now. It was
Yeah.
a lot wider and a lot of energy around it. You could actually see that moving
A lot of
around.
movement there.
Mm.
And your
I know people
features
said they felt it in
seemed-
their higher heart. I felt it pulling my solar plexus. Some people in the higher heart, in the heart space. So it was definitely, you know, we could definitely feel the pull as well from the from you, from the energy.
Yeah.
And your
Yeah,
features were like, it looked like you kind of lost weight in your
Yeah.
face, like you were like
That's
longer
good,
face.
Kirsty.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'll bring him in more. Real.
I felt like I was being pushed down, and I'm still in that state where I'm back really far back and really pushed down. And I felt a healing the entire time, especially through this whole cavity of my throat, in my upper chest, into my head. And I was without thought the entire time, just listening. And I still
Wow.
kind of feel glued to the couch.
Because you're very connected to Yeshua. So yeah, that's interesting. Thank you for sharing how you were feeling.
Yeah, I actually, the state that I went into, I don't think I've ever experienced. The state that he put me in.
Oh
I
my
felt
God,
like I
that's
was put
amazing.
into, I felt like I was put into a state, and I just stayed there.
Yeah.
That's not easy for me. It's a lot of you might know.
That's great. And I just read your comment, Rachel. Apologies that
I am.
that you went to sleep. But yes, I completely agree. I feel that you were holding that space. And then I think there was a lot of you supporting my energy through that for me to be able to maintain that transmission, I suppose you would call it, or communication for that extended length of time. So yeah, thank you, Rachel, and for everybody else that was holding that space and that energy.
Mm.
I think the energy has been building all day. I was aware of it this morning. Huge amount of heat being generated, this preparation, and it's been building all day. And then all the way through that you were speaking, I was listening, but I was also in the energy, holding the space. Just quite fascinating. And the very, very powerful, very powerful. And I was aware of the drop in your energy when your energy just started to drop down. Well, your physical energy shifted. So Jesus knew to then start with bringing you back and withdrawing. I was very aware of that. That's when I started to come back as well. So the fascinating capacity of bringing all of this together this evening is just extraordinary. All of us here, everything that's been happening to us all day and to yourself, and here we all are witnessing and experiencing this together. It's quite extraordinary. And well done, Kirsty.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for those comments. And it is extraordinary if you think that where we're all based, and some of you I haven't met before that are on that line, others we've only just met once, others more than once. And it is amazing how this network has just gone out and we're all here live on the call tonight. It is just really extraordinary. So I'm just
Yes, Kirsty, I have just a comment. So yeah, thank you for your service and for what you're doing. That's very meaningful. I have the feeling that we received what we needed at this very moment. And Julia was saying that something was building up. I think the past few days for myself, it was like ups and downs until this moment, you know, on the summer solstice or winter solstice, depends on what hemisphere you are. So I'm bringing some masculine energy now So it's amazing to have this new group. And I'm not saying that I'm waiting for the next one, the next gathering or whatever, but if there's anything that we should do as a group, as a new group, I'm willing to help and contribute, and I guess we all are. So that's just a reminder that we are open to do whatever we have to do as a group.
Yeah, thank you for that, Remy. And that's interesting that you felt the energy as well over the past couple of days. And I'm quite sure
That was intense. Yes.
Was it? Yeah. And that build up to the solstice, I could understand why he's chosen today to do it. And I know that when we've communicated previously that we've been working on opposite sides of the hemispheres on the world together, and it's amazing what they have us do it. And obviously we've only connected once in person.
Yeah.
And that sometimes that's all that's needed. And I find it fascinating how spirit, the divine, whatever you want to call it, know exactly where we need to be and where they need to or how they want to use our energies. And that it's been just it's fascinating. Thank you for sharing that, Remy. Has anybody got anything else that they would
yeah, I'd like to add
share?
something actually.
Yeah.
You know, when you said that it was a transmission or a communication, I feel that on top of that there was an activation as well, because that's how I felt it in me, almost like what Jane, I think it was Jane, was saying about the heart and the higher heart. I felt like, you know, Christ consciousness works from the heart up, right? And I felt that like that was being activated. That's how I felt. So I don't know if that resonates with anybody else, but that's how I felt.
Yeah, I agree, Maria. At the beginning, when you greeted, I mean him, you and him, when you both greeted us on this gathering, I felt this like wave of heat and love right here in my chest. And then I got shivers to the rest of the body, and it repeated several times at the beginning as you started to speak. My vision got blurred. I was trying to focus on your face, but it was changing. It was almost like I couldn't see the sofa behind you anymore. It was just like your face, and the energy that was coming through you was so intense. It was as if it got blurred, the background. It was so weird. And yeah, so I agree with you, Maria. I had a similar sense, especially at the beginning. And then I just continued listening, and all the responses, I felt like everything that you said was something that I needed to hear today. So thank you so much for that.
Yeah. No, you're welcome. Obviously, I didn't really have much to do with it, but I'll take the credit. So, yeah, but thank you. And yeah, definitely going back to what you were saying, Remy, if anything comes through of any kind of further guidance for all of us, I will impart it. And then if you get any kind of guidance, please feel free to message me with any kind of insights that you get, and I'll be happy to pass it on to the group, because I'm sure he said something about that it was like no accident whoever was all here on
at the beginning.
and I agree with him that it's no accident who was able to make it live tonight and who was online, and we were all here for a purpose, and I feel that all individually we will have got something from it, as well as a collective group. And like you said, Remy, there might be stuff further that we're then going to be asked to do. So yeah, if anybody gets any insights, or if I do, I think that we should share with the group.
You know, the thing for me I found was just I've experienced a lot of channels, and Yeshua was just the level of power, authenticity, you know, just the being, the knowing. It was so clear, it was so calm, it was so even. Everything that he said, it was just almost flatlined. It just sort of came out in the most perfect way in the use of words, the use of your language, because of course he's utilizing your voice. But just to hear the expression, but the energy that was behind that, it's like every word sort of cut into you, and you just felt it in such a beautiful way. And you could feel really just the unconditional love that being is. And it was really magical. But sort of to Remy's point, it's like what I got from it was what he was sort of instilling in this message was just be you, you know, lean into yourself, know yourself, go to your inner guidance and learn your balance of masculine and feminine, because it's like that is the greatest gift we can give humanity, is when we are that energy, so that then that energy can be imparted on the around us and sort of just naturally expand without even having to try. But because we are or have been able to get to that place and attain that, you know, it's the ripple in the pond. As a group, because we're here, we see that and we can.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Thanks, Bevan. That was, amazing insight. And then that witnessing and explain it in that way. And hi, Carrie. I didn't realise that you were online as well. Hiya.
The background.
Yeah. So yeah, thank you for sharing that. And like you say, that it was he has to use my voice and my language because he's coming through me, but it was wonderful that you could feel that essence then or behind it, and feel that energy, and then like what he was saying. So yeah, I love what you said about what he said, because I haven't got any memory now over that bit, but I think it's about us all being individuals and recognizing we all have our parts to play, and it's that balance within each and every one of us, which will be different, slightly different to the next person. Very beautiful. Thank you. Is there any more comments before we finish for this evening or this morning?
Yeah, I just wanted to add something to what you said, Kirsty, because it's so beautifully connected to one of my dreams. I had a dream about Joshua, and in that dream, that was a few weeks ago, but in that dream, there was a group of people and he visited us and he talked to us. And the main message that we all took away from that encounter was that living our life, and for each of us, it meant our own individual life, is the path. And everybody was taking a note of that sentence, and some people were drawing his face or the place where we were, etc. And I was going around and I was so happy to see that everybody is taking the same sentence, but it means something very unique and individual and specific for each person to live their own life, and that is the path. So it was so simple, the message was so simple, but it was so liberating. And hearing you, I mean him, talking through you tonight about the same thing, it was such a beautiful reminder and empowerment as well for me to just be okay with that. That's enough, you know, just to live the life. That is the path. So thank you.
Thank you, and thank you for sharing that dream with him. And it was amazing how it all connects, isn't it?
Yeah.
So thank you so much, everyone, for your time. I'm so grateful that you all turned up and listened to say whatever he had to say, but just for your time and your energy and for supporting my energy. Just very, very grateful. And say, I don't know whether I said this at the start, but if anybody would like a recording of it, I'm happy to send you the link. Just send me a message and I will send you a link to the recording if you want to keep it. But yeah, I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day. It's been a privilege, and thank you, Michael, for your session this morning. That enabled me to be able to do this session. It got my energy to where it needed to be and all balanced and stuff. So very grateful. Thank you.
You're welcome, Kirsty. Thank you. It was awesome.
Yeah.
The whole experience. Thank you.
That's brilliant. So sending lots of love to you all, and have an amazing rest of your day. And thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.